Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 475. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo, yo, yo.
Brett Murdoch.
What up, people?
Richard Bailey Jr.
What's up, everybody?
And Brian Manjoma.
What's up? What's up?
All right, man, we're back with another one. I think we should start the show off with this just because it's not gaming related, but it's important because this was a part of all our lives growing up. News just came down that Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball Z, among other things, has passed away at the age of 68. Very sad news.
God damn it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if there's any of us here who didn't watch Dragon Ball Z growing up, you know? Yeah. I remember, Manny, you and I used to get those bootleg VHS tapes back in the day. This is before Dragon Ball Z was even airing in America, you know?
We could, we would go to there's a few bootleg places that we could get that stuff. And this was like 90, early,
early mid-90s
stuff, mid-90s stuff. So, yeah. That's unfortunate. The announcement he actually passed away on the 1st of the month, but obviously for reasons the family wanted to keep it all on mum and essentially make the announcement days later. I'm sure once they've had their service and all that stuff. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and obviously we'll probably hear more later, but it said he passed away of basically it's like a brain injury, so he may have gotten into an accident, Yeah,
it's a brain injury, usually associated with some sort of trauma. So he could have fallen, or as I remember, he was he liked riding motorcycles. So who knows if he took a dive off his motorcycle or anything. But to be honest, they're not. It's so early in when he passed. They're probably not going to ever say what it was until way later. Like, it's kind of like the original creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! When he passed away, they just said he died, and they didn't really give you much more. And then later on, you found out he was essentially trying to save somebody on a beach.
Oh, wow.
Like he was trying to save a child. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys want to say anything about Akira Toriyama, but I felt like, we should at least mention that because Dragon Ball Z was life,
Yeah, thing about him is he's like, this guy managed to make it big twice. Like, he created the Professor Slump, which was a very big comic for him. And then he could have just rested on those laurels, but he went and continued to create, and he created Dragon Ball Z, which is bigger, ended up being bigger than Dr. Slump. Yeah,
and so obviously, the artwork for a Dragon Quest, that was a big reason that game was successful.
He did all these things. Yeah. Again, he did all these things when he theoretically just could have sat back because it just collected checks. It looked like he wanted to stay creative.
Yeah.
And he constantly just kept moving on and doing new things. And there's even a new Bandai game that's coming out right now called Sandland. That's based on one of his little stories. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, go ahead, Britt.
I was just agreeing with man. Like, the Sandland looks cool. Like, I just wanted to throw in there, like, we have a lot of creatives on this podcast, so I think we can speak, and I think a lot of people will agree with me that, like, it is an absolutely tragic loss. That being said, the bright side of it is, like, dude, if any of us could achieve a fucking 10% of what that man added to the public, like, index of art and the collective imagination of people on that, like, if you could inspire 10% of the people that he inspired, like, how many people got into art because of Dragon Ball? Like, how many of that? Like, how many of us started drawing, fucking Goku? Like, the man has left a legacy that we honestly all should be envious of. Like, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, no, that's factual right there, man. It's like it just inspiration on all levels, man. Like all facets of life, lots of different generations too, because Dragon Ball has been around forever, and it always like renews itself. Like it seems. It's not just like, a bunch of old guys talking about Dragon Ball. It's like everybody, It's fucking crazy, man. So yeah, shout out to Kira Toriyama, and thank you for everything, that you left the entire world with, It'll live on forever.
Too young, man. Too young.
Yeah, facts. All right, so let's, with that said, the show must go on. I'm just going to go down the line here because a couple of interesting things happened this week. This one, probably the most boring one, but we got to do it. You know how we do on Throwdown. Whenever there's a preview event or whatever, we got to go through games one by one. So the Xbox Partner Preview event aired this week, and they announced a bunch of trailers. So we're going to go through these. I'm looking at these from Xbox's website. I didn't get a chance to watch this because I was busy reviewing this, the MacBook Air M3. So I didn't get a chance to see this. As a matter of fact, somebody texted me. It's like, yo, this shit sucks. So I'm like, there's an Xbox event today, But anyway, we're going to run through it. Manny, I know you got to see it, so you could give us some context of some of this stuff,
Oh, yeah.
Okay, again, I'm just going to read this from Xbox website, so I don't even know if this was the order they showed them in. But we're going to go down the line here. So, Final Fantasy 14 Online set for full release on March 21st for Xbox Series X and S. Way to go, guys.
That is not most definitely not the order that it came in. Final Fantasy was not the first one, but anyway,
okay. Yeah, again, I'm reading this off of Xbox's own website here. So yeah, Dragon.
They're probably working their way up to the bigger things. So
probably,
that was toward the end.
Yeah, so there you go. Welcome, Final Fantasy 14. 10 years later. I mean,
10 years later, there you go. I mean, it's got a lot of got a lot of stuff. So whoever hasn't played it on a PlayStation or PC, there you go.
Yep, there you go.
Best ongoing game of multiple years.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, best ongoing game. That's right. And remember how that game started? It's like pretty much bombed out the gate. Then they did a Realm Reborn, and it redeemed the game.
Literally fixed the whole damn thing. Yeah,
it's crazy, and it's still a mainstay. Not interested in it myself, but it's cool that people enjoy it. All right, next game that's listed here is Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess. Capcom delivered a detailed look at the upcoming Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess, a unique single-player game set in a Japanese-inspired universe. First revealed in June last year during Xbox Game Showcase. This new title from Capcom.
Remember it.
I don't remember. You remember that, Manny, or not?
No, I don't. I don't remember it.
I'm usually the one that has the memory holes, This new this new title from Capcom will release day one on Game Pass as well as Xbox Series X and S and Windows 2024. For even more on Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess, watch the Capcom Highlights Day One broadcast here. Okay, cool. Let me look what this game's about. Let me watch this trailer.
It's cool. It's got it's like you're exercising demons and like this in villages and stuff like that, and you have like sort of like a bit of an RTS aspect to it too when you're fighting bosses.
Is this RE Engine?
I don't know, but I'm sure it is.
I think so.
Yeah, because it is Capcom's engine now.
All their new games are all running on RE Engine now, anyways.
Yeah. Brian, you have any thoughts on this game?
So. Yeah, it looks cool.
It looks cool. Yeah.
I don't know how the whole RTS and action blending is going to work, but it looks interesting. Cool concept. I like the designs of the creatures. I think it's just. I think out of most mythologies or styles that you can go for, like the Japanese style just seems to be the most interesting, I'd say. So yeah, go for it. I will buy it when it comes out.
I'm looking at the trailer now. The graphics certainly look good, so that leads me to believe it probably is RE Engine. The action RTS kind of triggers me a little because I play Brutal Legend, so that's a little disconcerting.
This one is not near. It doesn't seem nearly as RTS-y. Like you just sort of like set a spot and then they do different things, but I don't know how much control you get.
Yeah. Real quick sidebar here. Il Wat Chada, if I don't know if I said that right. He goes, running on 1 hour sleep, so I might crash in between, but just wanted to come through and show some love before my eyelids shut the gates. Appreciate that, man. You could check us out tomorrow after you and get some sleep, my dude. Yeah,
man, get some sleep.
Get some sleep, brother. Yeah, no, this game looks nice.
Are you reviewing laptops too?
Yeah, right. Hey, I did get I got sleep though, at least, I didn't have to deprive myself. I still, even though I stayed up kind of late reviewing this thing, I didn't go to sleep much later than I normally would on a weekday anyway,
I mean, yeah, that doesn't the time that you told us doesn't seem that bad. That's like that was kind of like normal Tony going to bed time.
No,
it's
just the fact
actually, working.
Yeah, actually, I used to go to sleep at 4 a.m., so that's definitely not normal Tony time. But no, it wasn't bad. As usual, I thought it would take me longer than it actually did. Your boy, Anyway, okay, so that's that game. New game revealed: The Sinking City 2: Rises from the Deep. I'm just gonna read their descriptions. So they seem pretty good. The Sinking City 2 made a world premiere appearance during the show with a trailer showing the iconic Lovecraftian city of Arkham and the very unpleasant sights within. Manny, this is the game you were telling me about, right? Sinking City.
It's got a H.P. Lovecraft sort of theming to it. The Sinking City. There was two at the time Sinking City came out. There was two H.P. Lovecraft games, Sinking City, and there was another one. So this one's actually apparently got a sequel.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. I mean, oh yeah, there's H.P. Lovecraft. There's the monsters from some of his stories. The fish
they
monsters.
have the one. The Innsmouth. Yeah, Shadow Innsmouth.
Yeah, Shadow over Innsmouth. Yeah. Yeah, I saw it. I'm like, oh, there you go. This doesn't look like actual gameplay though.
No, it's just a CGI trailer.
Okay, forget it.
Definitely not gameplay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in general, as I remember, it was like a first-person game, like some sort of first.
Oh yeah, this is not.
It had some interesting aspects to it. So, but yeah, I don't know what else they could do. But then again, the amount of work that he had, Lovecraft did, you probably can make a bunch of stuff. So
yeah. Rich, you have any thoughts on this game, Sinking City 2?
Oh no, my assumption is the first one had to be good. I guess that they decided to make a sequel.
Yeah, Manny,
I'm not 100.
Your boy CK says people love Sinking City, so there you go. I'm sorry about that.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, you're not sure what now?
Oh no, I'm not sure if I will check it out quite yet. The game that you guys were talking about previously, the Capcom game, yeah, I am interested in that. But still, something interesting to check out, so I'll give him props.
Yeah, hold on real quick. That dude Il Wat, it's our homie Carl, who used to hang out with Hip Hop Gamer. What's going on, Carl? It's been years.
What up,
yeah, it's our boy right there, man. Yo, Carl, I hope you're doing good, man. I hope you're doing good, brother. My man, Critical Eye. It's been a hot minute, man, but a lot of love for me, Rich Manny. We know him very well, Shout out to him, man. Good, yeah. Always makes me happy when we see somebody that we used to have regular meetings with, still doing their things. That's dope.
That's the one thing that I do will sorely miss about E3. The fact that you literally it was like the one of the places where everybody sort of collated. You can catch up, you get some dinner, you talk, good stuff.
Yeah, where everybody knows your name.
Everybody knows your name. Everybody pulls out. Everybody loses their mind over PlayStation announcements.
Yeah, right. My motherfucking dude, Carl. That's right. He was with us that day too.
Yeah, he was.
That's the homie right there.
The PlayStation 4 day, the PlayStation 4 reveal day.
Yep,
right? He was there.
Yeah, he gave us a thumbs up. My man. All right, moving on here. Persona 3 Reload expansion pass. Interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
Sega delivered the first exclusive details on the upcoming Persona 3 Reload expansion pass that will allow players to dive deeper into the world of Persona 3 Reload, featuring new costumes, background music, and extended story content with episode Aegis, the answer. I still need to play Persona 3. I got a review code for it, but I didn't get around to playing it. But I played a preview of it at a Sega event last year. I'm like, this is Persona. I like Persona, so I will like this game. Good stuff. Yeah, it basically looks like like 5. It has those graphics now. Good stuff. I wonder if they're ever gonna do 4 with that type of graphics too. I think they probably will. Because 4 came out on the fucking PS2 and Vita, and it's on PC now, but it still looks aged, as it were.
So Persona 4 Goldener?
Yes. Persona 4 Platinum.
Golden.
Cool. All right. Next up here, place the Welcome Back Cotter theme. You already know, son.
Welcome back.
Stalker Legends of the Zone trilogy available today on Xbox. So there you go. If you like Stalker, you could play this game. What the hell? Okay, I'm confused. Isn't Stalker didn't Stalker 2 just come out or something? Or am I confused with something else?
It is coming out soon, but not yet.
Okay, go ahead, Rich. What is this game I'm looking at right now?
Well, I think that Brian probably would know better. I think this was one of the original trilogies, one of the older trilogies.
All right, Brian, I need a history lesson here with Stalker, because obviously it's been around longer than I thought.
I remember Stalker. It's an old franchise.
Basically, it's remastered trilogy by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Out on Xbox because it never was on Xbox, I don't believe. So, yeah, that's all it is. And out now, Game Pass. So, play it. I guess just in time for Stalker 2. So, clever idea.
Yeah, there you go.
Clever girl.
Yeah. Unknown 9 Awakening surprises with new exclusive gameplay. Bandai Namco and Reflector Entertainment introduce us to the world of Unknown 9 Awakening, giving us a fresh look at its exciting world and showing off the hero Haruna, played by Anya Chalotra, in this exclusive gameplay review. What the fuck is this? Let's see.
It sort of looks like an Assassin's Creed-like game, but with the girl's got like psychic powers.
Oh, okay. Is Anya
you're running across the roof.
Somebody I'm supposed to know?
I don't know, but I hear
what's her face in Witcher?
Okay, Yennefer. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Oh, it's Yennefer, and the voice that you hear in the trailer sounds like what's her face from Farscape? Who's in Uncharted?
Yeah, Claudia Black. It could be her.
It sounds like it could be wrong, but the person, like, there's like a back and forth happening, and it sounds like Claudia Black.
I wonder why Anya isn't doing the voice. The girl that's the
no, Anya's doing the voice of her character, but there's another voice you hear in there.
Gotcha.
That's over it. It sounds like Claudia Black. Anya sounds like she's talking to Claudia Black.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, you're right. I see what you mean. It's like Magic Assassin's Creed, and it looks like you're playing as a
it's like Magic Assassin's.
Like you're playing as different
looks
people.
Like she steals.
Okay. Okay. She's stealing people's like bodies or whatever,
like souls and stuff like that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, looks interesting.
It looks fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I need some help with this one. Abu Bakr Salim. Okay, I got that right. Abu Bakr Salim narrates in-depth gameplay trailer for Tales of Kenzara Sao. I thought Abu Bakr Salim was the name of the game. Okay. Surgeon.
Tales of what?
Tales of Kenzara Zao. Okay.
Kenzara Zao.
I don't know.
You remember the game at the Game Awards where the guy came out in the African drip?
Oh,
and he cried about his dad.
Yeah.
He talked about his dad. Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Okay.
And also, it was at that very moment that I realized that there's so many indie games that talk about death, and that's like, it's just a lot. And then it actually got me thinking. If I'd like run down a list of like the really popular, great indie games, I'm sure that over half of them are to do with the death of someone in some way, shape, and form.
You're not wrong, though. I'm thinking about it now, too. It's like, yeah, they kind of are.
Yeah, and can I just fucking say, please fucking quit that? Like, both to gaming and to Hollywood and to fucking everything. Like, can we just, like, do the whole, like, the death of a loved one, and like put that shit on the back burner, maybe. Or like, while we're at it, can we get away with the fucking like easy payoff of like, well, someone's sick with cancer or some other fucking thing? Like, we fucking get it. Life actually has to come for some of us. Quit trying the easy access cottagecore fucking Pixar Fields door. Like, we get it. Fucking somebody died. Oh no, your grandparent died. Now you need to go on a secret adventure through a fucking garden. Fuck you. Maybe I had a real grandparent who died. All right, I'm done.
There you go. I agree. It is lazy writing. All right. Moving on here. Chucky is ready to bring a bloody good time to the world of Roblox. What is Chucky coming to Roblox? Like Chucky?
Yes.
Everything coming to Roblox,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes. Can I make a comment on this?
Yes, you can.
This did not need to be in the showcase. This could have just been a post on the website.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Well, from what I understand, this entire thing could have been a post on the website. Oh man, I don't even know. We don't need to go over that. I don't even know what the hell this is. All right, next game here. A new game reveal. Creatures of Ava, a new creature saver game by Pokemon from Inverge Studio. What the fuck is this shit?
so instead of a creature capturing game,
You're saving them.
saving games. It's like catching Pokemon and then doing nothing with them.
Is it like those guys that sorry, Torrance, the guys who fish and then throw the fish back? Is it like that?
No, you save them, but it's like imagine like catching them and like sending them to a zoo. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. I'll read this little thing. Inverge Studios revealed their newest title, Creatures of... Is it Ava or Ava? I don't know. Whatever. Let's go with Ava. Creatures of... I don't know. Whatever. Where you'll learn to understand and tame the creatures of the planet Ava and let them lead you through a variety of ecosystems. That sounds really stupid. All in the hope of saving the planet from life-consuming infection. Okay, let me watch this fucking trailer. What is this shit? It looks like flowers.
It looks like Pikmin, but not as fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, after Power World, it kind of feels weird. It's like, can I shoot them? No. So what's the point?
Okay.
No.
I'm gonna go with Ava.
Spoken like an American, Brian.
Yeah, because Ava is Evangelion. I'm gonna go with Ava. All right, whatever. This looks stupid. Let's move on.
I mean, it's
yeah.
Okay. Like I'm just start calling these motherfuckers out.
Please do.
Look,
please do.
It's a neat idea. I'm sure he worked really hard on the video game, but yes, we get it. The planet is fucking dying, right? Like it's this every fucking indie game. If they don't do the tragic, navigating the psychological trauma of the tragic, untimely death or sickness of a loved one put into physical manifest. If it's not that, it's this. So we've covered both main flavors of fucking indie games now. Great. Yes, you're a mystical forest spirit or sprite or something going through the environment and undoing the machinations of the evil, shadowy, oil-spewing blob, like fucking black, industrial construction that is a shim or a flimsy fucking metaphor for industrialism. We fucking get it. Here's the thing: you're making this game off of power pulled from the fucking grid. Did you make this fucking game with solar panels, or did you use the power from the grid that is part of that fucking system that you're shitting on? The fucking Jesus Christ! It's not only lazy writing, but this shit fucking pisses me off because it's kind of counterproductive, right? Like we're all inside hanging out. While you're inside hanging out playing video games, play this video game about saving the earth. Like, did you really do anything, or are you just fucking patting yourself on the back? Like, great. Thanks to you, now we know that the Earth might be in danger. We were really all just kind of up in arms about it. We really didn't know. But then you came out with this game, and we're like, you know what? This game, it might, and I don't know, I might be stretching here, might have an allegory to real-world events. And maybe we should actually pay attention to the environment. Congratulations, you did it. Your prize is in the mail.
All right, there you go. Next, another new game reveal, Monster Jam Showdown. What the fuck is this? Jump behind the wheel of a fan favorite monster trucks like Megalodon, El Toro Loco, and Gravedigger. Oh, is it like Sunday? Is it that type?
You'll only need the edge of your seat, Tony.
Yeah, it's monster truck.
That's right. Okay, yeah, it's a monster truck game. Cool. See, Brett, there you go. No crazy politics or nothing. Just race monster trucks. There
And
you go.
that's fucking it. There's people out there who are like, I love monster trucks, and like they made a monster truck game for those people. Great, fucking great. Thank you. Like, is this shit really so fucking hard? I'm sorry. I'm all pissy and popping off the mouth today. Ask Tony. I'm angry all day.
Yeah. Well, get this out now because I need you to be calm during a specific segment. You know.
Yeah.
So get our system now. You know. All right. Moving on here. Monster truck game. Cool. The Alters reveals its many sides. 11-bit Studios shares a deep look at its upcoming emotional sci-fi game that features a unique blend of adventure, survival, and base building elements. As Jan Dolsky, you'll play as a simple worker who creates alternative versions of himself in a desperate attempt to escape from a planet where even sun rays can prove deadly. Look for the Alters to come. Okay, so the name of the game is The Alters. The Alters to come to Game Pass and Xbox consoles. All right, let's see what this game is about. Sounds like some Returnal stuff going on.
It seems like he crash lands on the space base, and it's kind of like it sort of reminds me of the idea of Moon, except Moon, like we're in Moon, he didn't know that there was alternate versions of himself. This guy knows that there's alternate versions of himself, and they're all sort of working together to kind of keep this place alive. But there's obviously, because of you get to choose like what sort of plot points that they've had in their backstory, and it can drastically change the way that version of you sort of comes out. So it's like, hey, what if I didn't go to college, or what if I didn't go to join this version of the space program, or all kinds of other funky little things based on decisions you've made in the past, and then you're kind of dealing with that person within in the plot of the game as you try to repair and keep this place running.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. Next up, we have First Berserker. Kazan shows off its visceral combat in action. Based on the DNF Dungeon and Fighter universe. I didn't know that was a thing. The First Berserker, Kazan, focuses on the betrayed hero Kazan, who is seeking revenge against those who orchestrated his downfall. During today's Xbox partner preview, Nexon, just a developer, gave us a deeper look at the fierce combat we can expect. Let's see what this game's about. Sounds like
that actually looks kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds brutal. DNF. When I see that, I was like, did not finish. That's a book term. Did not finish. I guess you can say that for games too. DNF. Rich, you have any thoughts on this Kazan game?
Yeah, I think this did look cool. I guess it's sort of like a Souls-like. It somewhat. It looks like it to an extent. I don't know if when they showed this trailer, I'm assuming that this was a PC build, but it did look a little rough in certain parts.
Oh yes, I see that.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's console, PC. I don't know how early it is. But supposedly, I think this game is coming out later this year. So
is that frame rate intentional?
I have no idea.
Like that is that is some questionable frame rate right there.
Which one?
For this Kazan game. Here's the thing. During combat, the frame rate seems lower, but then during exploration, it seems higher. First Berserker Kazan. It's in that link I popped in the show notes, man.
Okay.
All right. I mean, it looks kind of interesting.
I did sort of fast forward through a couple of things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is the one that's sort of like Demon Souls-ish looking.
I guess.
Yeah, fighting giant monsters.
Yeah. I mean,
this game is by the same people that.
What, Manny? Oh, you're talking
on this.
Okay, go ahead.
It said it's based on this. It's based off this franchise called DNF Duel, which is like a Korean game that they made a bunch of sort of spin-off and fighting games off of. There's a Arc System Works fighting game based on it too.
Yeah, Dungeon and Fighter. That's what DNF stands for. Mm-hmm. Interesting. All right, there you go. Man, you notice that the character looks a lot like Elric. Just again, most copied character no one's ever heard of.
Yeah, Elric. Elric. I mean, there's a reason why the Elric brothers in Full Metal Alchemist were named Elric, and it's not because they just chose a name out of nowhere.
Yeah. Elric and Solomon Kane, guys who never heard of, that inspired a lot of character designs. All right, moving on here. Frostpunk 2. Coming July 24th. Again, 11-bit studio showed off more of its upcoming city survival game. I'm already bored. Let me look at this shit. Is it like Sims or something? Sim City? Yeah, it looks like it.
So the previous game that we just talked about, that is the one that started the show.
Okay, the Kazan game?
The Kazan game. Or
Okay.
one of the earlier ones that they showed.
All right, so this is like a Sim City type of game, whatever. And then the last game that's listed here is a new game called Sleight of Hand. Riff Raff Games revealed their upcoming title, Sleight of Hand, with an amazing cinematic trailer. Let's see if it is a cinematic trailer, though. It
is a cinematic trailer.
Yeah, this upcoming third-person stealth game of hard-boiled espionage action. What's the name of that game that did that? It was like black and white, and then it had some red spots, and the studio got closed. Doesn't exist anymore.
Sabotage?
Yes, that was it.
The Saboteur.
Yeah, Saboteur.
Yeah.
I'm reading this. I'm like, that sounds like a Saboteur to me. Anyway, let's look at this thing. Wait, hold on. What? Let me read this out. I'm getting confused.
He does magic.
This upcoming third-person stealth game of hard-boiled espionage action will have you infiltrate your old witch coven using a cursed deck of cards in the rain-slick city of Taboo, where ritual magic and cursed artifacts set apart those with power. What the fuck kind of game is this? So it's like some like
I don't know. She just has
game?
the way they sort of show it is she sort of has these abilities that sort of are attached to different card things. So she'll throw a card out that looks like it's got smoke, another card, but it doesn't look like it's like randomized.
Yeah. I mean, not much I can say about this. It's just a cinematic trailer, so take it how you will.
The art style looks nice. That's about all I can say.
Yeah, if the game ends up looking like that.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. Xbox partner preview. A whole lot of nothing.
I mean, I didn't find it horrible. I mean, it was nice to see that they had some new games in there. Definitely the Capcom game looked very cool, and I'm mildly interested in the premise of that space game where you're literally doing a bunch of stuff with with your alternate universe versions of yourself. But yeah, not like a Megaton. But I mean, it's weird when they set up these sorts of previews, right? Like you would think that they would want to impress the most when they show these things. It just seems like, okay, we just throw a bunch of games in here.
Yeah, that's what it literally seems like.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, well, to go to Manny's point, let me pretend that I am Phil Spencer, and I will say, we need you guys to wait until the June showcase. Then we'll show our big guns.
Oh, man.
Wait for E3?
Wait for E3? Yeah,
yes.
Not anymore.
The Xbox showcase is still in June, so yes, that's the event. That's the event they're going to probably show all their bigger stuff at.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm starting to feel like, while I do think they need some bigger stuff, like, my opinion on it has changed a little bit recently, and it's like, I don't know if Microsoft really needs a killer app. Not in this environment. Not while there's nothing else really coming out for Sony that we really know. Like, what the approach that seems to be working, I can't believe it. Like, just having a bunch of mid games seems to increase their library enough to the people like I said, I know 2 people that bought an Xbox like in the last 2 weeks, and it's because the Game Pass library is just robust. There's just stuff on there, like not even anything in particular that draws them in, because they're both kind of expressed a lot of surprise, like, hey, I didn't know this was on here, and I didn't know this was on here, but it did seem to be like they found like, oh, there's 2 or 3 things on here that I know I want to play, so that is the deciding factor on which of the two consoles I'm going to buy. And like, I'm starting to wonder if this Game Pass thing may have more like I've been the person that sings its praises, but like it's weird to see how successful it's working business wise. Like we all talk about, like who's gonna win the fucking console war, like who our favorite brand, and like that kind of thing. But like to a lot of people who aren't hardcore gamers, that shit doesn't matter. And I'm seeing Xbox's business model starting to work, and not just like in numbers, not just hearing what they say, but like actually seeing people in the wild shifting and buying Xboxes, which has been a while to see. So like I'm not entirely sure that they need more than a broad range of kind of meh games. And I think maybe that's the way the industry is going too, because like Sony can't keep up with these giant blockbusters. So maybe Microsoft is kind of on something. Maybe they're not putting $1 million or millions and millions of dollars into these games. They're just shoveling them out at a fairly decent rate and giving them to you pretty accessibly, and that seems to be working pretty well for them.
Yeah.
Well, on contrast, I know someone who sold an Xbox the last month. The thing with
Was
this
that
and
their only
comparing
Xbox?
It was I heard it was Eurocar 9 that did it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with comparing it to Sony, they've been shit this past year, other than Spider-Man. Like,
Well, that was last year, by the way.
anything.
That was last year, by the way.
Well, like this past year, like 12 months.
Okay, I thought it was about like 2024 because that statement would be correct.
Yeah, like it's been dismal. Like the output from both of these companies. I mean, Sony has been underreported just how bad it's been. I feel like nobody's said anything about it. Like, oh yeah, release Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and act like you made it.
Okay.
But no,
Yeah.
they didn't make it. That's Square Enix. and with Microsoft, I mean, how many billions and billions and billions and billions, and I can keep going, billions of dollars do you have to put into these companies, and none of these companies are releasing that many games, and you have to rely on indies and be like, hey, be happy with this. Like, I mean, some of us, like I enjoy like some of the bigger games and the AA games as well. I mean, Senua Saga, I think most of us have been looking forward to that game for years now. Yeah. So like even that game, if we get that and we get something else, like it's just barren and it's a wasteland. And just they're looking at third party to fill the void, and it's been years. It's not like, oh, like just recently they've started just doing this, but no, Sony hasn't released more than 2 or 3 decent titles in a year from their first party. Microsoft, there's some years they barely release anything.
Yeah.
So they don't release 2 or 3 a year ever.
Yeah. I must correct what you said, Carlos. You said barely. No, the answer is no. None.
Well, last year they released Starfield and Redfall, so got to give them props for that.
Yes, Red.
I mean,
Red fail. Yes,
Red fail. Yeah. By the way, Blitz says sales say otherwise. Because Sony's still selling a lot of PS5s.
That's not what their numbers say.
Yeah, they had to cut back their productions. Yeah, that's true. But to be fair though, Xbox Game Pass subscriptions have like flatlined. Like they're not really going up. Yeah, they're not really.
Yeah, and Blitz says only thing saving Sony is reputation. 100% agree.
Yeah,
100% agree.
And that's also hurting Xbox reputation.
Yeah.
Well, they're not really performing like Usain Bolt over here.
Yeah.
Wait, now I'm lost, Blitz.
Yeah. What happened? Throwdown Show. That was for Xbox, not Sony. Oh yeah, the sales. Yeah. It's like they're just getting crushed. Yeah. That's true. What was it? Was it 3-1? I think last time I read. Like it's pretty substantial the gulf between PS5 sales and Xbox.
I'm a bit surprised it's even that. Like even like 1 out of every 4. How does the math work on that? I'll be honest with y'all. I'm math retarded.
Basically, if it is 3, 3 for 1 or whatever, it's basically for every 1 Xbox sold, 3 PlayStations are sold.
Yeah, okay, so 1 out of every 4 is an Xbox. Still kind of feels a little high considering everything, doesn't it?
Not really. If you're only selling 25%, that's pretty fucking bad.
I just feel like out of every 4 people that walk into a Best Buy to get a console, one of them was getting an Xbox. That's just all right.
Yeah, but the other 3 guys walked away with a PlayStation. You know what I'm saying, Brett? I'm like, there's still 3 guys getting a PlayStation over 1 guy getting an Xbox.
Yeah, but I guess I'm that one guy getting an Xbox, so I can't really say anything. But that's until recently, until I want to say the last, and maybe I was a little late to the party. Maybe it was doing it before that, but I didn't really jump on that bandwagon until the last 12, 18 months, sometime in there. This last year is really when I was like, holy fuck, gaming is so cheap now. And I've never thought that before, ever.
Yeah. Oh, Blitz, thank you. Yes, that I saw that report too. Brett, this is interesting. So currently, the Series X is selling less than the Xbox One at the same time.
Wait, the S is selling less than the Xbox One?
Yes, One, the Xbox One. It's selling less. Let me read this. Series consoles, that's both of them. Series consoles tracking millions lower than the One at the same moment.
Oh, so both the X and the S?
Yes.
Why is the One selling more like that? What? Who's even buying the One?
No, Brett, you're not understanding. Okay, if you took the Xbox One sales, what it had sold in its first 4 years, and you see what the Xbox Series X has sold in its first 4 years, the Xbox One had sold more at the same time, at the same moment in time.
I mean, that honestly doesn't surprise me. There's a weird phenomenon that seems to go in with a lot of this. I don't understand how people don't understand how let's say I make Shooterman 4, and Shooterman 4 is amazing. And then I make Shooterman 5, and Shooterman 5 is an absolute pile of shit, but it sells like fucking gangbusters, right? And then I make Shooterman 6 or 7 or whatever the fuck number I might have already forgotten, and it's amazing, but it sells like dog shit. And everyone's like, I wonder why. It's because your reputation. Because you fucked up your reputation. People don't buy this shit based off of specs or friends or most of the time these console sales are built off of brand and reputation. And of course now they're selling lower because you burned your reputation down for the last generation was so terrible. It was so terrible. You were coming off of the back of a previously terrible generation and you still made it fucking awful. You have scared away a large portion of your customer base and it's going to take for fucking ever to get them back. And I think they're doing the right thing to get them back. They're offering value for the cost of what they're doing. They're reaching out. They're having community outreach. They're doing all of the right stuff. They're investing in their own future and their own games and that kind of stuff. But it's going to take time. And by time, I mean it's going to take a lot of time. It will probably take well into next generation before you even start to actually get some of that stink off. It's realistically speaking, if I were looking at a crystal ball and looking at a world where somehow Microsoft became on equal footing with Sony, and I'm not saying we're going to do that, but let's just say we live in a what if universe for a minute, right? That shit's going to take 2 generations. And not a day less. No way in hell. The rest of this generation is going to be keeping up, trying real hard to convince people that maybe next generation they buy an Xbox, and maybe the one after that would be the one that could start to really truly even things out. But we're best case scenario, we're 15 years from Xbox being on anywhere near equal footing. And that's if they did everything right, and they continued to do everything right, in spite of market forces and greedy people telling them to stop investing in their own fan base. Which, that's my biggest fear, is that Microsoft's road to redemption is so long that they are very likely to fucking stop for coffee on the way, and then just never get back on there. You know what I mean? They really have to They've been fucking up for generations. They need to pay it back for generations. That's not. I don't make the rules. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid that some corporate fucking CEO asshole is gonna be like, well, clearly what this whole like trying to be nice to our customers didn't work and they didn't put money in our pockets, so we're gonna have to do fucking something else when they don't realize that you just need to keep the course. And we see this so much in fucking video games where they also can surprise Pikachu face when like they're like, oh, the last game we put out was fucking terrible, but everybody bought it, but now nobody's buying it. We don't know why. Because the last game you put out was terrible.
Yeah. All right. That's actually a kind of good segue to the next thing I want to talk about. This is very interesting. So we all know, Ori and the Blind Forest, Xbox exclusive, all that. So the CEO of Moon Studios, who makes the game, said that his company doesn't make money off of Game Pass. Very interesting.
Here we go.
Yeah. So basically, he tweeted out, I appreciate all the messages about wanting to support Moon. Best way you could do that is by just buying Ori.
The game.
And he linked to the Steam pages, not Xbox. He linked to the Steam pages. It's really good, I promise. And then somebody replied, he goes, why not on Xbox Store? And this is, remember, the CEO of Moon Studios, he replies, because then people get it on Game Pass and that doesn't help Moon.
That's it.
Yeah, and then somebody.
What have we been saying?
But how does that not help Moon?
Because people aren't buying the game; they're just playing
because you're not
it,
legitimately buying a game.
Yeah.
Where is it? What other than possibly funding a sequel? It doesn't still help their studio. In other words, there's no residuals off of that shit. It's on there. They've already paid for it.
Yeah,
so it's on there for free. There's no transactions happening.
That's the part that I kind of like. I'm like, okay, that's the only part of that statement that rubs me the wrong way. So, like, is he advocating that now that they have been paid by Game Pass, that people should buy it? Because, like, yeah, duh.
Yeah, they should buy his game. By the way, I want to read this link. Just real quick. Somebody goes, I would love it if both Ori games came to PlayStation. I'm sure many others are hoping that too. The CEO replied, then please let Phil Spencer know that it's not in our hands. And he added Phil Spencer. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Devil's advocate here for a minute because I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but there's a couple.
This is pretty simple. He thought they don't make money off of Game Pass. It's pretty simple.
Okay, that's a fucking lie. All right, that's what I'm saying.
The CEO is saying this, Brett.
That's CEO, a fucking lie.
How is it a lie when the CEO who owns the company is saying this?
I can tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, they didn't put that on there for free. He's not lying, but he's being disingenuous. This is a fact. This is a case of like, if facts don't lie, but liars use facts. And I'm not trying to say this guy's a liar. That's just an extreme example. So like, let me nuance this a little bit more, right? Of course, he's saying if you want to support the studio, go buy their game because playing it on Game Pass doesn't help them. But the part he's not saying is that that's because Game Pass has already paid them. Game Pass, the game isn't on Game Pass for funs and shits and giggles. They didn't lose a card game and have to put it on there. They've been paid by Game Pass. So, of course, now that they've been paid by Game Pass, the best way to get more money is to give them more money. But that doesn't mean that they haven't made money on Game Pass. To say they're not making money on Game Pass is kind of an assumption based off of the things they say. Like, I get he's saying they're not making money on Game Pass, but that's because Game Pass has already paid them. They have made money on Game Pass. And that doesn't mean that Game Pass and putting your game on Game Pass doesn't make you money. It just means they've already cashed the check.
Here's the thing. The thing about it is it's good, especially if you're in development, but it is not good for the future of your titles.
Yeah. I mean, maybe
no, but not maybe.
But that's not what's being said here.
You're making an initial investment. It's like when you're paying freelance, right? What happens when you go? Let's say I work for Marvel Comics right now. They've just paid me to do a cover or to do something like that. Now in my contract, I have a residual, so I make make money over future sales. There is no rhetoric for streaming services like that. That's why the SAG people were fighting so hard for that shit over the thing, because because there is no money being continuously generated, they're not making any money. So the best way is to essentially buy their game.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
I mean, it's just like they just
let him respond.
They paid for the development. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that. Like, I agree that residuals should be something that's brought up, and we should all be talking about them. My concern here is, my ears always perk up when I feel like somebody is not being 100% honest. And there's a couple things in this that really perk up. And again, yes, we can all make the assumption that when he's saying to buy the game to support it, there's just so many leaps of logic between that and Game Pass doesn't pay for their games enough. They don't pay enough to the developers that putting games on the Game Pass is profitable. That is a wild assumption based off the information we have and the half-baked statement of one person that, when held up to scrutiny, doesn't entirely show itself to be true.
The CEO of the company.
That's where I get concerned. Yeah, dude, the CEO. Dude, okay, Tony, tell me this. Did he not get money for putting it on Game Pass?
Yeah, he
did. Is that what he said?
Yeah, he did, obviously.
Okay, but he's not saying that here. He's saying that you buy something after it's been paid for on Game Pass and he makes more money. And that is not an untrue statement. But where in that does it say that it has been unprofitable for them to put it on Game Pass?
No, he never said that. He just said, buy the game to help us because it if you play it on Game Pass, it doesn't help them. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. So by making the assumption
true.
that being on Game Pass hasn't been profitable, that's just that. It's an assumption. And again, I'm not disagreeing that they should get residuals, but I'm also saying, like, the way that this is brought up, I don't fucking trust it.
The thing about residuals is that it involves making a percentage over a sale of something. Now, usually, like, I'm guessing is the way they sort of do it is, obviously, since Ori and the Blind Forest has sort of ran its course, it's currently probably not being played very much on there. So obviously these guys are going to want you to they're going to want to push you toward actually buying the game and specifically supporting them rather than going to the Game Pass version.
Of course, and I'd like you to pay me to show up for a tattoo and then pay me for the tattoo. But that's paying me twice for the same product. Like, and I understand that. And I also understand that we've known Game Pass doesn't really pay residuals. We've known that they don't pay per download. That's one of the things that makes it better for smaller studios. And again, I'm not even making a comment. I'm not making a comment on who should be paying what or if that's right. That is a separate discussion. I am simply pointing out that the thing that he's saying on surface level and the thing that people are walking away with it are two separate things. And the thing that they're walking away with is from their own brain that they are imprinting on that comment. And so people are just making wild assumptions and then getting up in arms about it. Not saying that I don't even agree with. I might agree with some of these people that are getting up in arms, but we got to have that discussion. And that discussion talks about the pay structure for Game Pass, which we don't know, but we should know. If game developers deserve residuals, which I do think that they do, and probably some other stuff. But the only thing I was pointing out is when you say, yeah, if you want to support us, go buy the game, just not on Game Pass. Sure, that makes absolute sense as math. But, like, everybody's assumption then that, well, Game Pass is an unprofitable endeavor, it's kind of a wild reach, don't you think?
I would
like
it's a wild.
Yeah, I understand where they're coming from because that's not.
No, I
don't think I don't think it's a wild reach at all. Actually, like even if it's incorrect to assume that, it makes sense why people would assume that. You know? Yeah,
but see, here's the thing. We've also had CEs talking about how Game Pass has been a profitable endeavor for them. They've actually said, like, the full sentence, not just something that people can kind of assume kind of means this maybe.
Yeah, but for his studio, it isn't.
But that's not what he said.
He did. He literally said it doesn't help Moon. He said this. Those are his words.
Because they've already been paid.
Yeah, but so that's what I'm saying.
How do you know that?
Paid, I mean, that's an assumption too, I guess.
No.
You're making a bunch of assumptions.
Okay, what assumptions am I making?
It's like you're acting like they're getting paid the way that Moon Studios deserves to be paid.
Nope,
That's the whole thing.
I did not say that.
You know what? Well, that's the whole premise of the whole conversation. It's the head of Moon Studios is complaining about, like, you need to buy this game somewhere else so you can support our game and our studio. And that's why he's saying, oh, like, this should be made into PlayStation. Tell Phil that, but like the whole thing.
That's the other thing. Okay, let me actually touch on that. So you sign a deal for exclusive rights, and you get bonus money for those exclusive rights, and then you would make more money breaking that contract. Yeah, of course you would. Again, that seems like dumb, obvious logic to me. Like, of course, but didn't you get paid for exclusivity? Or did you just do it for funsies? Because I don't think you just went to Phil Spencer and went, hey, we're going to give you exclusive rights and let you put our game on Game Pass. Just give us a pat on the back and add a point.
It's equivalent. It's equivalent to signing, to signing with a record company so that you can make your first album. So you make your first album, and then obviously whoever that record company owns the rights to that first album. Then you, if you make it good well enough, then it gives you enough, to push yourselves into a new aspect. So that's what I think this one is. So it's like they've signed their contract. They've already made the money to make that game. They're the two Ori games. Now, like, it's like if you really want to support them, yes, you would need to buy them specifically from the buy directly from them. As opposed to just playing the free game that you get every month.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with that, and I think that part is fairly obvious. Now, that being said, like, I think that there is an issue when we're talking about a company that made this profitable of a game having financial problems is probably indicative of them.
Was it a profitable game?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was a big game. It's a well-known game, but if it hasn't been super profitable, then that might be indicative of some problems in the way Game Pass is playing. Like, I can get to the same place as you guys, like, and I want to have that same discussion. It's just the way that he says it, in that, like, yeah, of course, if somebody paid you twice for the same thing, you'd make more money. And of course, if you got to get paid for exclusivity and then not have to be exclusive, of course you would make more money that way. But when you say it like that, without saying the quiet part out loud, it makes me nervous that you're not being 100% honest. And that's why I was like, these tweets seem a little, I don't know, man. They're right in the middle where I'm like,
but it's also Twitter. You're not going to have a nuanced conversation about the intricacies of something in general. I'm thinking he just gave it the simple answer. Obviously, I'm sure they definitely made. I'm sure that just like a lot of those that Xbox contract sort of works is that you get an initial investment, you get all that stuff, so it's great for developers in the beginning, right? But after that point, they need to continue to. They need to be able to push it, and I don't know if that studio is actually still a. Is a full-on first-party company, or they just were published by Xbox?
I think they got exclusivity, but like, the reason I bring all this up is I think that there's an important discussion to talk about in here, but like I had to kind of precurse it by those two things insofar as that, okay, if they make an upfront cash amount regardless of the number of downloads, regardless of how long that's being downloaded, right? It's just an initial upfront. One, that can be wildly exploitative. Two, it can seem like a Faustian deal that's very difficult to take off. But three, and more importantly,
I'm laughing because I was literally thinking Faustian deal this entire time.
Yeah, especially if it's a lump sum up front, right? Like, that is so tempting. Especially like if you're like, nervous, like, I don't know if our game's going to take off. Like, there are people like Power World. If they didn't make it, they were going to shutter the studio. So there's a lot of game companies that are like, fuck, man, if we don't at least do a minimum on this, then we got to shut the doors. At least this is going to allow us to keep the lights on, although we may not, profit off our mega success. Like, that is 100% Faustian. And, like, that is a problem, but that's also another discussion. The thing that I kind of want to bring up is, so I make a game, let's just go with Shooter Man. I make a Shooter Man game, right? And I sell it to Xbox to do their console exclusive and their Game Pass thing. So I get a bunch of money. Now I go and I try and sell my game. But here's the problem. I'm now competing with the ghost of myself. I now have to try and convince people to buy my $20, $30, $40 game while it's on Xbox for free. And that's going to dig into my own sales that I'm not getting paid for anymore. And so now you have this weird thing like, oh, fuck, I undermined myself. It's the exact same product on a different platform for way less money. So why is anybody going to buy it? Like, and I can see that being a huge issue, especially as somebody like on Xbox and Game Pass. I'm like, I get free games all the time. Like, I hadn't even thought about the fact that that might make it tough. Although I will say, like, developers I really appreciate and support, I will buy their games several times over. So I just bought a third copy of Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's really interesting, like the idea of competing with yourself, or like the Shadowland version of yourself.
Like we talked about, like we talked about earlier in the last year, probably. We don't know what the exact money is, that revenue that they make from, just engagement, how long the engagement, and all that stuff. We don't know the numbers for Ori. The only thing we know is the head of a studio is complaining, and that's pretty much what it boils down to.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, I'd really like to see some more information or discussion on this, because the head of a studio is complaining. Like, that's either really important or not important at all. And honestly, the history and discourse would not fix that guessing game. Like, I for every time that you get solid information about the inner workings of the development industry, like, you get 2 or 3 people talking about how you can't trust players to make game choices, or why Elden Ring is terrible, or why Baldur's Gate shouldn't be the future of video game. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. Developers and CEOs can kind of talk out of their ass sometimes. So maybe it's just a lack of appreciation for any sort of station or authority on my part, but that doesn't mean shit.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna just take this guy at face value, because to me, what he said was pretty simple.
Oh no, you absolutely can take him at face value,
Yeah.
but it's the other parts that aren't said that I think you need to have to make a discussion.
Yeah, but the thing is, Xbox is not going to release those numbers.
No, but can they release those numbers? Can they not talk about those numbers?
They may not be able to. They may
not,
be,
especially if you have a contract with a studio. Hell fucking no. That's a breach of contract, man.
Yeah.
Well, even to talk about, like, man, like, if they've got it on there, like, where they're not even allowed to, like, discuss, like, the nature of, like, do you not get residuals? How does the payment structure work? Like, because we haven't heard anything, and so, like, it makes me think there's a pretty rock solid NDA in there, and that bothers me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. That's like saying don't talk to your coworkers about how much you're getting paid. Like, something here feels fishy.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think everybody, just like anything else, everybody gets a different deal, kind of like the way Spotify works. Some people on Spotify get paid decently, and there's a lot of people, a lot of performers on Spotify that get paid shit, and they'll fucking tell you. So I feel like a lot of times this is like a Spotify situation where it's like, yeah, you might, maybe some of you might make some pretty decent money up front, but in the future, you probably won't make anything. It'll just sit there and languish. So,
well, and that's the thing that I'm kind of all of a sudden amazed about. Like, not only that, but okay, so you make a bunch of money up front, but now, like, it's going to cut into your sales on Steam. Like, if you're just like, okay, we'll take the Xbox money up front, and then we'll take, the PC money as we go on, and then you're like, oh fuck, there is no PC money. I didn't expect that. Like, I can see that being hugely problematic. That could shut a fucking studio down.
Well, once a game's run its course, and then it's already associated with a brand, and you hear, hey, I can get this game if I get this service.
Yeah, but
we'll
PC
see.
games have a longevity to them. They go on.
Oh no, PC games do have PC games do have a longevity to them, but at the same time, it's like, some of those games aren't like making gangbuster money right now. They're doing, obviously when you get that nice little shot in your arm when they do one of their sales, and then a bunch of people start buying. But I mean, at least they have the rights to their PC version, and they had that Switch version. I guess it didn't do that well, did it?
Yeah. All right. Let's move on here. Hey, Chris. See if he's on there.
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
I don't know if you heard, man. Yuzu, they're dead. It's over.
Over without a fight. They just settled up with Nintendo real fast.
Yeah.
They had a
Yeah, they
they're gonna pay
settled.
them a fine.
Yep.
I
So-
don't remember the figure. Was it 2.4 million?
Yes,
or-
exactly. 2.4 billion. So explain this to me. So they settled, and then they're gone. Like, did they need to, like? Did it cost so much that they just had to shut down, or like what entailed?
Well,
all
I
that?
wonder if that might have been in terms of
Yeah.
Nintendo's settlement. Like, you have to shut down this this project, right? So they said they shut down Citra and they shut down Yuzu, and I checked and they pulled the GitHub down, so all the source
Shit.
code is gone. The site was still there when it broke, right?
Yeah.
The site was there, but the GitHub was down, so they pulled all the source code. Now that doesn't matter. I said this last week. I said this was a bad idea by Nintendo because this monolithic approach is just going to make people mad. People are going to go get this project and figure out how to resurrect it, right? And you're going to get like 8 of these things that are going to link to torrents and whatever of games. And instead of just saying like, hey, this is an issue, and it's like, take the steps to mitigate things leaking, right? Because the main reason they went after these guys is because Tears of the Kingdom leaked early from somewhere. Either the game got sold early and somebody dumped it online, or I don't know how it got out. But people were saying that Nintendo lawyers were sniping the Yuzu Discord, and somebody linked to one of them linked to a ROM site, right? It's like, oh, you could get stuff here. Now that's all well and good, but that's not them providing the game. They're just like, hey, it's out there. You could go get it. So I didn't agree with this whole thing, but it's done. It's dead. My claim still stands. That source code was there. Even when we did the show, if you went on the GitHub, it was all there.
Yeah.
The source code. People are going to get this source code. There's going to be multiple Yuzu clones out there, right, that are just going to pop up. And Nintendo's not going to be able to stop this. As a matter of fact, they may have created a worse problem because, like I said, what are you going to do about a developer in another country that you can't get litigation going? And they created, and it links out to seeds or ROM sites or whatever, and it pulls in stuff so you could play it, right? What are you going to do about that? So you made this problem worse. You could have left it alone and tried to mitigate the problems outside of Yuzu, and maybe said, hey, we see you're saying this stuff in your Discord, and we're seeing this stuff. Maybe you got to cut it out, right? And make them clean up the Discord and whatever, and don't advocate piracy or whatever. They didn't do that. They just went all out. We're going to take you to court in Rhode Island and sue the shit out of you. Which is how they usually handle things.
Yeah,
and
heavy-handed.
I think that's going to, it's heavy-handed, and that's going to lead to worse problems. I mean, you think you're going to get $10 million out of Gary Bowser because he hacked the Switch? Really? The guy just got out of prison. He's probably working a minimum wage job. He ain't ever going to pay that money back. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, Nintendo, man. By the way, all that sounds a lot like Metallica and Napster. Very reminiscent of that. They were heavy-handed too.
Right.
And look what ended up happening in the end.
Exactly. I didn't even think of that, but that is exactly what happened. You destroyed the one centralized place. People were pirating music, but you made the problem way worse, right? Blew up, and then you had other clones, and then BitTorrent became a thing. Technology evolved because Napster was gone.
Yeah. Isn't that something? Yeah, somebody on Twitter put it right. It's like, basically, now Nintendo's have to play a game of whack-a-mole, Yeah. So
and you can't
have fun with that,
right.
So, yeah, there you go, man. Yuzu's gone, but, people have found a way. Yeah, the Hydra. Yeah, cut off one head, 2 more will grow in its place,
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I want to talk about this next story, and this will lead us to something else that we can't fully talk about. I'll let Brett speak on it. It's actually the biggest story of gaming this week, but we're not going to go too into it because some of us work in the gaming industry. We don't want to get canceled. But it's funny. Okay, you know, PlayStation doesn't usually they're very. They don't usually give you refunds for games, right? They did it with Cyberpunk, but it's very rare, right? Guess what? They're doing it now with Suicide Squad. They're refunding people's purchases because the game sucks and it's a piece of shit and nobody likes it, you know? And obviously,
Well,
yeah, go ahead, Rich.
Oh,
are they also going to be refunding your time that was wasted playing the game?
Yeah.
no.
The way I see it, real quick. The way I see it, my personal time playing this game was well worth it because I played the game so you don't have to. I eviscerated that game. I gave it a low score. By the way, very interesting. Now that this whole, I'm not going to go to it, but now that this whole Sweet Baby Ink thing is like out there and open, I look back, I'm like, with the exception of Spider-Man, I've rated every single one of the games they've been involved with low. Saints Row, Forspoken, and Suicide Squad, all absolute garbage trash games. And now when I learned about it, that kind of makes sense. And then some of the questionable stuff in Spider-Man, I'm like, okay, it kind of makes sense. But that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Can I just add something, just like really briefly?
Yeah.
Sorry, the game came out last month? Start of last month?
Yes.
Yeah, it's already 40% off on Steam. I've never seen such a massive, fast price cut in my life.
That's insane. And also,
it's barely 30 days old.
Yeah. Manny, you go next, but Brian, can you look up the player count right now while we're doing that? Manny,
Yes.
what were you gonna say?
Oh, it might explain why I saw so many people waiting on the customer service chat, because I actually did get a refund for something pretty recently. I was trying to buy Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and I accidentally bought the season pass, but without the actual game.
Oh, okay.
The game, the season pass and the game are all like $50, which is insane, by the way.
Wow.
The deluxe season pass is like 50 something bucks. So I'm like, I'm not gonna buy the game now, spend another $50 on the game, and to have this stupid $50 DLC. Fuck that. So I just contacted them, and when I went on to the user like the chat, there was like, it was like 180 people ahead of me waiting for something.
Yeah.
Could that have been a bunch of people trying to get money back for Suicide Squad? I don't know. I don't know what it's usually like on their chat thing. Brett, was it like that when you actually talked to somebody, right? When you did your communicate with the garbage people at Sony.
Yeah, remember that situation? Yeah. How did it go with you?
Eventually,
yeah. Man.
Yeah, when they told me to I had to take it up with the publisher. When I told them they were the publisher, they hung up on me.
Jesus.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for buying our game. Click.
Yeah. Mine was I went to the chat service because I wasn't because essentially hearing the experience that you had over the customer service line, and I've dealt with the PlayStation customer service before over the phone, and they've always been very kind of shitty. So I figured I'd do it through the chat service, and it worked out. I got my refund, but for the thing because you'd say if you bought something a mistake. But yeah, it was quite a bit of people. I'm like, and it was a lot of waiting time between whenever communicating to this person. But anyway, okay, so then now everybody's getting their money back for Suicide Squad. Oh well.
Well, you shouldn't have made a bad game. So Brett, go ahead.
People are gonna want their money back, man. Like if you're gonna throw these sorts of games out that sort of like, and you could see that they were trying their darndest to try to rope-a-dope people into buying it. Oh, it's part of the Arkham games. Oh, it's the last performance of Kevin Conroy.
But again, we consider this game dead on arrival as soon as we saw it was a looter shooter.
As soon as we saw it, yeah. As soon as we saw that trailer, so as we saw it was a friggin' looter shooter like superhero game. No.
Yeah, because because it always works when studios known for single player games are forced to do these type of games. Anthem, Marvel's Avengers, fucking hell, what's the name of that Ninja Theory game? This shit never works. Brian, you gonna say something?
I got the numbers.
Oh,
The
let's
numbers.
fucking go.
Do you want to hear like the numbers, or do you want to hear some of the funny games that have more players than
Let's start with that.
Suicide Squad?
Let's start with that. The funny games that have more players. Let's start with that.
Okay, hold on, because I went to the wrong page.
This is
So
gonna be hilarious.
I had to go to a very long part, a very far away page from the front page to actually get these numbers. And these are some of the okay, sorry, focus. These are some of the games that have more players right now than Suicide Squad. Baldur's Gate 1. Yep. Walking Dead, the Telltale series.
Wow.
Assassin's Creed Unity.
The bad Assassin's Creed, the really bad Assassin's Creed game. Holy shit.
Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Which one?
The 2005 one.
Oh, wow.
And the one that got me is this one. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
Wow. All right.
I actually had no idea that was on Steam. Suicide Squad is on Steam charts, page 31. So it's ranked 761 in terms of terms of players right now, with 439 players.
Jesus. Absolute disaster.
It's just awful. And also, this is a funny one. DC Universe Online has 6 more players than Suicide Squad.
I mean, that's kind of to be expected. It's an ancient game, right?
Yeah, but an ancient game has 6 more players than the brand new game.
That came out last month.
Go ahead, Rich.
By the way, to piggyback off of what was already said, there was an article that came out the other day. The Warner Brothers CEO said they're still going to be doubling down on live service games. So
Hey guys,
they haven't learned anything.
What's up,
Real
Brett?
quick, I know everybody here is on the inside track, but does anybody want to cover any of the basics so that the listeners know what we're talking about? Because we're just kind of alluding to it like fucking he who shall not be named.
Yeah, no. We're talking about just how bad Suicide Squad is doing. But no, I'll get to that. Don't worry about it. But we gotta dunk on the game real quick.
I didn't know we were just dunking on Suicide Squad. I thought I heard Assassin's Creed in there too.
Yeah. Well, no, because I guess we were talking about the games that are doing better in Steam right now. It has more players than Suicide Squad. One of them being Morrowind. It has more players, people watching that game right now than Suicide Squad. Morrowind.
Well, that's just because it's a superior game.
Oh, players.
It's on Steam charts.
Okay, yeah. So, and Brett, DC Universe Online has 6 more players than Suicide Squad. A game that came out years ago.
Yeah, because it's a good game.
Yeah, exactly.
DC Universe Online is fucking dope as fuck.
Yeah, so we just
Even
we're
for somebody who didn't like MMOs, Tony will admit they nailed the fly.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah,
hard.
But again, just to show that an ancient 10-year-old game is doing better than a game that just came out last month. That's pretty brutal.
Yeah, well, again, I want to clarify: an ancient 10-year-old good game versus a current flaming sack of horse shit.
Yes, exactly. Rich, what were you saying about Suicide Squad?
Well, no, I was just saying that the Warner Brothers CEO said they're going to double down on live service games.
Yeah,
so we'll see how that experiment turns out.
Rich.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The dude said they don't make, like, we were making live service games now because the Suicide Squad was an individual experience or a singular experience, like, or something like that.
Suicide Squad.
That's correct.
Hogwarts. He was talking about.
Yeah.
They'd also said mobile gaming, so that, like, honestly, what I heard is we have been run out of town. We shall be setting up camp in the mobile game division where nobody has any standards and nobody gives a fuck.
And
They're doubling. Oh, go ahead, Rich.
Oh no, go ahead. I'll go after you.
They're doubling down on the thing that nailed the freaking Suicide Squad coffin closed.
Idiots.
This game was not made out of love. It was made out of freaking how can we get the best live service game that'll generate the most money for us?
Yep.
And let's paste the freaking DC Universe people in it because they're popular, right? That's all that game is.
So I just want to make a comment and say, if you are a fan of Warner Brothers games, you might be a little concerned about the future of whatever games they are making. And one other thing I did want to point out, I don't know if you caught this, Tony, but apparently the Gotham Knights team, they are now helping to work on the Wonder Woman game.
Yeah, dead on arrival. Dead on arrival. It's over. Yeah.
Real quick, they have fans?
Yeah.
So what? Yeah.
Who, like, I'm not even trying to be a dick here. Like, what Warner Brothers games have been killing it lately?
Hogwarts Legacy. That game was the best-selling game of last year.
Hogwarts Legacy.
I forgot that was Warner Brothers.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, the game they want to sweep under the rug. You know, even though it was the most successful game of last year. Not Warner Brothers is for the industry. You know,
It's just such a weird. I'm just so perplexed by that statement as a whole because, again, as Tony said, the most successful game of last year, period. Beating out Call of Duty, which is usually the most successful. And they come out and say, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to focus on live service games and mobile games because why? No, they're the bad stuff. Like most of the single player stuff that Warner Bros. Does is quite good. Again, you have the Arkhamverse. That's I guess those 4 games. You have not Suicide Squad, Hogwarts game.
Yeah.
Again, best of last year. Period. You have the Shadow of Mordor games. Also did really well, but then they make a few really bad live service games with Gotham Knights and this, and then they turn around and say, yes, let's do more of that, please. It's like, I don't know what, like, is there a term for someone who just really doesn't get it like that? Because, you know,
several terms I could think of that I can't say on air, but dumbass would be one of them. You know,
it's perplexing. Like, I'm honestly trying to understand why that statement should be made. Like, no, like, even if you look, I don't know what they're looking at to make that conclusion because it makes no sense to me. Like, it can't be looking at numbers because the numbers say they're wrong. So, I don't know. I'm just confused.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
And just for the sake of it, Gotham Knights has 300 players.
Trash, you know. But yeah, Brett, I know you want to speak about this, so I'll tee it up for you. I'm just going to lay the facts down. So obviously the big controversy that has been happening for 2 weeks now, actually, or maybe a little more. Basically, after Suicide Squad had come out and the game was just trash, people started looking into it. It's like, oh, there's this consultation company called Sweet Baby Inc. that was involved, right? They looked into them, and that company's whole mission statement is to basically push more diversity in games, right? Then people looked like, oh, they worked on all these other games that came out recently. So somebody on Steam created a curation page, like, hey, here are all the games this company listed, worked on. Stay away from them, whatever, right? So one of the people that worked at Sweet Baby Inc. saw that, they got really mad and was trying to get not only that page taken down, but have the user completely taken away from Steam, take away everything. They wanted them banned, right? That didn't happen, backfired stupendously, and now that same person has locked down their account. Sweet Baby Inc. has locked down their account. And this kind of smells like something that happened in gaming almost 10 years ago. Something that
it more than smells like something. It's made of the same ingredients.
Yeah. So, again, I'm not going to say I have my opinion on this. I've been watching this very closely, but people on this podcast either work in the game industry or adjacent to it, and cancel pigs will be cancel pigs, so we got to be careful. So, Brett, I know you want to speak on this, but just please bear the last thing I just said in mind when talking about this.
I hear you. And I'm okay. So a couple things before I even get into it. There's
there's more to it. Sweet Baby Inc. is also owned or affiliated with Strange Ghosts or Weird Ghosts and Sweet Ghosts or Ghost Babies. Ghost Baby and Weird Ghost, which are kind of like outreach fund programs that basically they raise money and then they dole it out to people working in certain spaces. In this case, people who identify in the LGBT community or any other oppressed thing. The reason I bring this up is not only do they work as Sweet Baby Inc., the consultation company, but they also do outreach to kind of find people of like minds to then build it. So they're kind of getting it coming and going. And that's a little weird because like they count themselves as 3 companies across several spaces. And that's I guess something that businesses do, but it feels kind of weird and underhanded. Also, and I'm not really sure how much this actually matters because I'm still digging into it, but one of the co-owners of Sweet Baby Inc. is actually the sister of the guy Zoe Quinn bullied to kill himself. I'm not sure if you guys all remember that, but Zoe Quinn laid out false allegations and bullied a guy until he unalived himself. And it appears since then, like, there's some weird threads that then connect his sister, who took over a lot of the rights for his games and a lot of his stuff, kind of moving into this also space. So, like, I will dig into this, and I will come back at y'all with, like, all of the yarn and everything like that on the fucking poster board. Like, I will do all that. It's just been a real busy week, so I can't dig into it. But there's a couple cursor things that I did want to say personally. And before I even dig into that, I want to step out and say, like, yo, first of all, everything I am about to say is in no way affiliated with anybody else on this panel or with the coalition as a whole on which it is hosted. It is solely my opinion. Nobody has given me permission to really do this. And I just wanted to kind of speak because, weirdly enough, not getting a paycheck, I'm the only one who can. And that's kind of the reason I felt like I had to say something. So, broad strokes, this is a very fucked up situation where a company is essentially blackmailing people to up the social credit score of the video games and force themselves into the industry. And a lot of the games that people have felt, you know, this feels a little weird, this feels a little awkward, this feels a little ham-fisted. It turns out because Sweet Baby Inc. actually worked on a lot of those games. So there's been a whole boatload of drama since this whole Sweet Baby Inc. thing came up. The guy made the Steam curated group, which then speaks on which people are in it. And he has been being attacked on social media and being DOSed. And they actually tried to get him kicked off and deplatformed on Steam itself, even though he's just doing something completely within the terms and limits allowed by Steam. So there's a lot of guerrilla warfare stuff going on here, and it's a lot of the same players that we saw, honestly, back in Gamergate. So we are in a very weird place where we have kind of identified a lot of, you know, it's not even insider trading or insider baseball or anything like that. It's just, this is the reason, and this is the trail that we can follow back. That a lot of the games, honestly, have been not that great. I'm going to go ahead and lay Saints Row at the feet of this game. I'm going to lay all of the diverse bullshit of Forspoken. I'm going to lay the way we're changing characters. I'm going to lay the random fucking black girl in God of War all at the feet of this fucking company because they are just putting in diversity quota things. And when you have a group coming in and essentially blackmailing or holding hostage the creative process under threats of, like, right-think, we find ourselves in a very authoritarian space. And it kind of really makes sense why we're seeing a lack of creativity in games. Because not only is it not safe to experiment fiscally, it's not safe to experiment socially.
or we've gotten to the point where we've gotten to the point where we now have to be combed over for right think, and then are wondering why our games are not doing well. And the weird part about all of this is, although it has been very obviously shown, you can show every little piece of this. And again, like, if any of y'all are interested, sound off in the comments. I will do the homework. I will come back to you, and I will detective this whole motherfucking thing. Because it does go deep. But the main thing that I wanted to point out is there is one of the biggest gaming news stories, I'd say easily so far this year, that is showing a clear and identifiable collusion between different parties, not even saying it crosses a whole lot of lines, just saying that's kind of the definition of a conspiracy, and it is being not only silenced, but we as a community are not allowed to talk about it. And I think that in and of itself is a huge red flag. I'm gonna kind of step back and not say too much. I told Tony earlier today, like, I'm gonna calm down and not pop out for the mouth for y'all. I actually anticipated bringing out my soapbox for this, and this isn't a good soapbox moment. I can't run the risk of y'all misinterpreting me on this one. A lot of times I like to pop at the hot mouth. We can come back, fix it later, move fast, and break stuff. But this is one of those things where even I have to kind of step back and be like, if I'm going to make a definitive statement, I need to make sure it's very clear and very well researched with citable sources. And just that should be telling you guys so much about the state of the industry that we're in right now. And I realize I'm just kind of preaching to the choir with a lot of you, but I really did want to take a moment to just kind of say, hey, look how far this has gone, because I'm the asshole that does tattoos all day. My paycheck doesn't depend on this, but if that's the only reason I can say something, then we have a very big problem on our hands. The entire industry is muzzled, and it's only up to what? The B squad and lower to pick up the slack? Like, guys, come on. Like, this is not good. So I see Sweet Baby Inc. being run out of business. But the thing is, with as many shell companies as it goes through, it's going to pop back up. This is going to need to be a thing that we need to keep an eye out for. And I think now that we've had our attention pointed to it, we can all kind of come together and say, these are the things I want in games, these are the things that I don't want in games. And again, there's not a lot that we don't want in games other than poor storytelling and quick money grabs. I think all of us are open to new experiences. I mean, fuck, that's one of the things that drew us to video gaming in the first place. If I wanted to play my life, I just fucking play The Sims. I don't want to play my life. I want to play a FromSoft game where, by getting curb stomped by horrific monsters that I can't even imagine. So I think all of us want the same thing. And we are seeing that there is an impediment to this thing that we want. And then we are being told collectively that we're not allowed to talk about it. And some people who do want to talk about it and have been kind of talking about it for years, their paycheck rides on it. They literally have they're literally bound and gagged. So here's your statement, like, here's us covering Sweet Baby Inc. because we fucking can't. And there is a suspicious blank coverage of one of the biggest news stories of the year because the situation that we find ourselves in. So imagine that we had just adequately covered it to all y'all's heart and had several rousing arguments about it, because I'm not any happier that it's just me and the crickets, and I don't even have the fucking crickets, but it's just me and the crickets and you guys, and that's all we fucking get, because that's the position we find ourselves in. So I don't know, man. If we have to, I think, and I know a lot of us do step up, but we need to step up more. Curate a Steam page, get involved with your community, at the very least do your research. Let's not let people try and drive a wedge between us and the things that we love. Otherwise, we're all going to end up hating games as much as Tony. Yeah. And I say that tongue in cheek, bud.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. And thank you for that. Very well said. All right, move on back to normal business here. Slight controversy with this one, which is interesting because PlayStation games have already come to PC many, many, many times. Ghost of Tsushima is coming to PC, as we've said years ago. By the way, Brian, once again, that NVIDIA leak is paying dividends,
There you go.
But yeah, some PlayStation guys I saw were very upset. Oh, betrayal! Like, you already got games on PC, bro. What are you complaining about? You know. But yeah, so is Tsushima Director's Cut coming to PC May 16th. You know, a very deserving game for sure. That was my game of the year 2020, which other PlayStation fans weren't happy about because Last of Us 2 dropped. Very funny. Like, oh, hey, what the fuck is wrong with you? Last of Us 2 is better. It's like, but I like a PlayStation game. We're on the same team, right? No.
I mean, it's interesting how long it's actually taken for this game to come out.
Manny, remember, this game has been requested on PC since the PS5 came out. You know?
Yes. So yeah, it's been a while. Like, what, Last of Us 2 already is on there, right? No, right?
No, not yet. But Last
Not
of Us
yet.
1, yeah, not yet.
Right.
Yet. You know that's
Last of Us
coming.
1, yeah.
You know that's coming.
I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it took a really long time to get it out there.
Brian, you have any thoughts on this?
I do believe that's that for that chart that they made. That's only on PlayStation. That was the last game left standing. And now there's only one game that everyone's been asking for. And it's the one game that they will not do, which I still think they're going to hold out as long as possible. And by the sound of it, it's only in Sony's hand. And it's that one game that everyone loves, Bloodborne.
Yeah.
It's just like everyone's waiting for that. You know, once that game comes out, then yeah, everyone will be happy. But yeah, on the plus side, all cool, great, that's coming out. Yeah, I didn't really have too much of a liking to it, but I don't know. It's definitely a tough year for me to pick stuff up because I still have some other games I've not played yet, and again, a couple of days' time, Dragon's Dogma 2 comes out, so it's going to be difficult for me to play anything else. But who knows? Isn't what's its face also coming out soon? Horizon 2.
Yeah, for Forbidden West, yeah, that's dropping on PC as well. So Brian, hold on, I got a question for you here. Okay, so the game supports 29:9 and 32 by 9, which is like ultra wide. And this one I find interesting. It supports 48:9 for triple monitor setups. So what's the resolution of each monitor then? Like, you know, or the aspect ratio, like
I think 16.
16, right? It must be, right? That's what that was my initial thought, but I wasn't sure about that. But yeah, 32:9, that's the same aspect ratio of some of the Samsung monitors I reviewed recently, which is one of my not complaints, but I said, if you're going to be playing a console game on one of these monitors, just be aware that consoles don't support that, that viewpoint. So you're going to have missing space on the sides, you know? Pretty cool, man. I'll get this. Brian, did you play Ghost of Tsushima by any chance?
No.
Okay, you play. You'll like this game. You'll like it.
It was on the list to play, but again, just never got around to it.
Yeah, well, now you get to play the definitive version on PC, you know?
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know if Brian's going to like it.
Oh, why is that?
Because it's just a really good Assassin's Creed.
You know? Okay, so it supports DLSS 3 and FSR 3, depending on which graphics card you have. That's good. And Intel XeSS too. If you so happen to have a fucking ARC GPU, cool. Or what are the Ultra? Actually, no, the Ultra. Oh yeah, okay. So I know the Ultra 7, the Meteor Lake chips. They're just for laptops right now. So I'm wondering if you play this game on laptop, it will support that. But I'm getting nerdy right now. Cool. Control support, obviously. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking this out on PC, man. Should be a lot of fun. Even though it looked and ran really well on PS5 after they patched it, So I'm wondering how much better it could look. Probably a lot better on PC. I don't see any minimum requirements or, recommended settings here, unless somebody else posted them. I'll have to look into that, but pretty cool nonetheless. All right, couple of things we're going to talk about, kind of slowly ramping up the show here. We got to talk about Dragon's Dogma 2, people. Previews are out. Your boy, me, played 3 hours of it, and I really enjoyed my time with it, man. Because just for some history, I played the demo of the first game back in the day, and I didn't like it at all. I was like, "What the hell is this?" It was just too weird, you know. So I never messed with Dragon's Dogma. I know people loved it, Brian among us. Anyway, so when I started playing the demo, I got the same feeling, you know, because the game's very demanding, you know. It's not like a typical RPG of any kind, you know. And for the first 15 minutes, I kind of struggled. I couldn't even make sense of the combat. I'm like, what is happening here? But once it clicked, you know. And what I really enjoy about the game is just how like open-ended it is. I know I'm gonna just say the same shit everybody's been talking about for this game forever, but I just like the fact that whatever I could think of, I could do. It's like, hey, like there's a fucking ogre there. I'm going to keep hacking out one leg and hope that it's going to injure that leg so he falls over. That's exactly what happens. You jump on his face, you stab him. Or it's like, hey, that ogre is standing right by that rock ledge. Let me go up to the ledge, jump on his ass, and stab him. You know, little things like that I really enjoy. And then also some of the dynamic missions, like some other RPGs do this too, obviously. Like the mission I did was I went into town and one of the store owners was like, hey, my nephew got kidnapped by wolves. You know, like somebody find him. Like, I'll go find him. Then some woman randomly told me, it's like, oh, he loved flowers. He liked hanging out by a flower bed outside of town. I go to flower bed and there's just rose petals everywhere. I'm like, oh, the boy wants me to go find him. You know, and then obviously along the way, I'm getting attacked by fucking everything. Ogres, griffins, insane shit, you know. I rescued a boy, come back, and I'm like, yo, what's going on with the graphics, man? I can't see nothing. It was nighttime. It is so dark. You can only see the fucking stars. That's it. Like, I just had to, like, find, like, little flickering embers. Like, okay, there's a campsite. Let me go hang out. And then another thing I really liked was, like, there's a fast travel system. It's like you kind of ride by oxes. And they even tell you, it's like, this is mostly the safest way to get around. Like, mostly the safest way. Took it a couple of times. Everything's fine. On the third time, I got jumped during the middle of the ride, you know, because normally in games, like, you select fast travel, you sit back, you don't do anything. Guy jumped in the middle of the ride, they killed the guy riding the fucking coach, so I had to huff it all the way to town. Fucking insane, you know? So yeah, and from what I understand, other people who played the game also enjoyed it a lot, so it should be cool. And I also want to point out the controversy that's going on right now with regard to the frame rate, you know, because Mob hit me up on Discord. He was like, "Yo, Tony, man, like, you know, why aren't you talking about the 60 FPS controversy?" I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Because you got to understand, I don't read other people's like previews or reviews. I just focus on my own shit. When I played it, the build I played was, they said it was uncapped frames per second. That shit did not go over 30. It did not go over 30, the one I played, but it was fine. I had been playing Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth at 30, so it was okay. Although it was noticeable, you know. And I don't know if I should have done this, but during the demo, I even went into graphics mode, you know, just like, hey, can I toggle this shit on? There was no settings, no performance or quality or anything. It's just what it is, you know. So it didn't bother me, but I can understand why some people are saying it's unplayable. No, it's just unpleasant, sure. Like, you would prefer 60 for that type of game, but it was all right, you know. And I'm wondering if, you know, Capcom will like patch it or whatever. And yes, running on the RE engine looks really good. Although I will say some of the NPCs looked like not as detailed as like the environments. Like, they look kind of last gen-y to for the lack of a better term. But no, I just enjoyed that it felt very robust, that you could do a lot of shit. Like, I'm going to enjoy playing this game. Thankfully, I do not have to review it. That means I could just play it on my own pace. It feels like that type of game. It's like, okay, I'm going to probably spend a day or two on just this one mission. You know, there's more. You can check out my full preview over at tomsky.com. But game's fucking awesome, man. But Brian, I want to toss this to you because you're the resident Dragon's Dogma fan here, and I'm pretty sure you've seen some of the previews. What do you think of what you've seen so far about this game?
I've not seen any of the previews, to be fair with you.
That's probably a good thing.
I'm mostly sold, so I'm just gonna wait until it comes out and then see what the performance is on PC, and then just take things from there. But from what I've seen from the videos and what people have been talking about, it's really nice. One of the things I've heard is that the character creator is also quite nice. It's almost as good as Nier 2, I've heard. So that's a good thing, because not Nier. Oh, no, what's the Souls game that was in Japan with the white guy for no random reason?
The Souls game? Oh,
The
Neo?
Souls-like game. Neo, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's almost like Neo 2 in that it's really nice and robust. So that's a good sign. Yeah, just hopefully that they kept lots of stuff in there, and hopefully that they keep the missions that were really nice and fascinating that you could do, because there's some missions that you can fail and it's not really a failure, it's just kind of an outcome. I think in the first game there was a mission where you storm a castle, there's some ogres, and if you don't defeat them fast enough, then your NPC companion, or the NPC that's leading the charge, actually dies, and then he's unavailable for the rest of the game, because of course that just happened. So all that stuff is just locked out, and I think that's really quite cool. Like, it should be a situation where there are consequences to quote unquote failing, I guess. Yeah, I just really hope they keep that stuff in there. One of the other things that I loved about the first game is that there was a merchant that allowed you to duplicate items, but they only duplicate the look of the item and not the effect of the item, which is really quite cool, because obviously there were some missions where the NPCs like, oh yeah, go out and fetch the legendary ring of so-and-so that doubles your attack or something. So you can fetch the ring, and rather than give him the original, you can duplicate it, give him the copy, and you keep the original with all the effect. Or there's another one to do with idols, where you had to give... There was like a bronze, silver, and gold idol that you can find. And then depending on who you give the gold idol to, they'll give you like cheaper prices and stuff like that. So you can duplicate it and then just give it to like lots of different people, and that's how you sort of like solve that puzzle. And it's really nice, you know. And I'm just constantly curious about why the dragon is in there. I sort of know why, if it's following the same theme as the first game, but it still kind of questions as to why it's there. And if you play the first game, then you know like why it's there, and also questions as to why it shouldn't be there. Very strange. Yeah.
By the way,
Looking forward to it.
you mentioned the item duplication thing. I did a side mission like that. Basically, one dude was looking for like an orb of some kind, right? I'm like, okay, I'll go find your orb. And then some other random dude, like a slave or whatever, it's like, hey, I need this orb to get free. So I'm like, yo, this other dude looks kind of shady, man. You know, so I went to the item guy, and I was like, yo, replicate this shit for me, you know? So he replicated it for me, because I'm like, I'm going to give the fake one to the shady-looking dude and the real one to the slave, you know? I did that, and then the item dude, he was like, okay, but I'm going to have this appraised first. I'm like, oh, shit. You know, I'm like, this motherfucker's going to find me out, you know? So I went back to the store, you know, the appraiser guy, the guy who created the orb, and I bribed him into telling this guy this is the real deal, you know? And it cost me a lot of fucking money, you know? And then after the mission was over, the guy gave me, you know, I gave my reward, which was the exact amount I, you know, paid to have this forgery, you know? So I was like, fuck, I should have done it the other way around. Give the slave the fake one. Give this dude the real shit, you know? So that was pretty fun. And, you know, I was told during the demo too, it's like, by the way, if you decided not to do that mission with the boy, he would have died. And then the villagers would be very mad at you, you know? So that's kind of cool. You know, it's like, so they basically said, do not take on a bunch of side missions all at once, because you're not going to be able to do them all in time, and you're going to fail some of them, and there will be consequences. So that's pretty dope, you know? So, yeah, the game drops on the 22nd, I believe. And stay tuned. You know, should be a good game. And then the last thing I want to talk about is that now people are actually able to confirm whether or not they have Rise of Ronin preview codes or review codes. Rich and I count among those people. We can't tell you anything about the game, obviously, but we are playing it, and we will give you our thoughts soon. There will be a preview, so stay tuned for that. So, Coalition, go check them out. Tom's Guide. We're going to have previews of Rise of Ronin. And obviously, when we can speak more about this, we will give you our thoughts next week, So stay tuned. This year's starting off kind of well for games. I'm happy to report. Final Fantasy, Dragon's Dogma 2, Rise of Ronin. We're doing all right so far, So hopefully that momentum will keep up. We'll see what happens, man. Anyway, that's going to do it for another episode of Throwdown, another good show. Rich, what is going on with the Coalition, man? What do you have to plug?
Well, yes, as Tony just mentioned, stay tuned for some thoughts on Rise of Ronin, a preview sometime next week. Aside from that, there's quite a bit of other games we have coming. I know that Dragon's Dogma, that's out on the 22nd, which actually is the exact same day that Rise of Ronin is out. So if you're a fan of both of those games, you're going to be very busy, I would say, on that particular day. But yeah, we have a lot of reviews coming. Adam did post up his WWE 2K24 review. That game is officially out now for everybody, the regular edition. So check out his review if you want to hear some thoughts. And pretty much aside from that, we will be recording our next episode of I Am Negan. Myself, Carlos, and Adam. This upcoming weekend, episode 3 of the Rick and Michonne show. Carlos's favorite show of all the Walking Dead shows. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But that's pretty much it for right now.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to add to that is next weekend, the Invincible podcast returns to the Coalition, hosted by me. So stay tuned for that. Should be very, very good. We'll be back that weekend. The show airs on Friday, March 14th or 15th. It airs on Friday. We go on Saturday. There you go. That's all you need to know. Should be good stuff, man. I think we pretty much covered everything. It's kind of cool now because before, when we used to just, when we used to plug I'm Negan, I'd go to Carlos, but now, Rich, I just go straight to you, and you get to plug all the other wonderful things going on at the Coalition. I love it, And again,
Yes,
Rich, man, I said this already, say it public again. It is so good having you as a member of Throwdown, man. You fill that nice niche of here's the real gaming journalist, because you play everything, so it really helps out a lot, man. So thank you for that.
Thank you, sir. Fun times.
Indeed, man. Get to talk shit and talk games, man. It's all good, All right, man. Make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Hit us up on Discord where the conversations and the rumors always popping. Shout out to you guys there. That's where I get all my news from. So you guys are great. And the conversations are pretty awesome. You got the memes about the Xbox conference were hilarious. So thank you for that. Throwdown, we're also on every podcast app you could imagine on Earth. Throwdown Show, 2 words, Throwdown Show, throwdownshow.com to listen to past episodes. And yes, we are back on the YouTube. It feels like we just got back. I think we've already been here for 3 months, which is pretty crazy, But anyway, if you are watching us on YouTube and you enjoyed all our videos and this video too, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when we go live at 10:30 p.m. Eastern and Saturday and Sundays, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, both on Twitch and YouTube. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Brett Murdoch.
Peace.
Richard Bailey Jr.
Have a good evening, everybody.
And Brian Majoma.
I have never and will never have a wedding-themed birthday.
Oh, man. All right, people. We'll see you on Sunday later.